Right, hi folks. I hope we're all doing well. This is Jon Wedger's Christmas Eve. I missed our thing on the 23rd. I just haven't been about. Reasons for it, nothing terrible, but sort of needed to be sort of in a different direction. Just something personal with one of my kids. So everything's fine. Everything's absolutely fine. But we're not going to go into it in great detail, but we can have a bit of a chat about it next live that I do. Um, but anyway, it was actually quite nice to have a good few days off. It's been the old turkey season, isn't it? So that's basically been living in the kitchen and clearing up the kitchen. So cooking, kitchen, eating, clearing up, kitchen. Yeah, life in the kitchen. Actually, this is the first day actually that I've had any sort of like quiet time to myself. So I knew that Wedgehog had done this. So let's just see. I've not sped it up. I've basically grabbed it and pixelated it. So I think it's transformative enough. So I've actually cut out the first sort of 4 minutes odd, just because that's about all I've listened to, and it was just mindless drivel. So of him going, "Oh yeah, here we are. This is London. Blah 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 blah. Let's just wait for some people. I'm having a cup of tea. All that shit." So anyway, let's jump in.
They'll put onto me their guilt inside them. You tend to get messages from these people at like 2, 3 in the morning, and they're vexated. There's a lot of people that are on medication, antipsychotic medication, even cancer treatment causes terrible, terrible mood swings. And just before his departure, I did receive a pre-recorded message from Michael Tarrager apologising for his behaviour.
I doubt that's true. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Absolutely zero reason for him to bring up Michael Tarrager at all. What a sicko. If he sent something private to him, what is it with this person that he doesn't understand private? Yours and Mike Tarrager's issues were all online. You called him a sewer rat. You called him every bloody name knowing he was dying because he dared to call you out. Dared to call you out. Now, if he did do that, and I'm putting a great big question mark there, who are you to then use that?
And basically saying, "You're a good man, John. You are a good man. I'm sorry."
Of course you are. You're a great man, Jon Wedger. People are queuing up to really say how wonderful you are, how much you helped them when they went with real evidence to you and you basically jeffed them off. I'm sure he said that.
Sorry. So,
Sure he
and
did.
that guy caused a lot of problems, but he's gone now, so
No, he
we're not
didn't.
going to dwell on that.
No, he didn't. He had his say back at you, and then he said, "That's it. That's the end of that. I'm leaving it well alone." That was it. So it caused a lot of problems for you. What? Because of your snake charming trip to Africa and all the other horse manure that you were spouting and calling him the worst terrible names? A sick elderly victim of the very things that you reckon you're trying to protect people from, and now you're bringing his memory up. And if he did send that, it was private. Not. Ugh.
Martin, hello Martin. Thank you so much for the card. Tony Turner, big Tony Turner. I want to discuss some of our work that we've been doing. So we raised quite a lot of money last year, and that was for a charity that was co-run by Tony, who's watching, and ex-criminal, gangster, whatever you want to term him, Terry Ellis and a few others. And what they've done, they set up a charity really to stop kids getting into knife crime and hurting and killing each other. It's a fantastic charity. Save a life, put down a knife. And myself and Dylan, through this arduous walk, we quickly raised the target amount within days.
What was the target amount then, John? Look at him. He's stumbling over his words. He can't remember. Why is he doing this when it's pissing down a rain and really windy on the roof? Why isn't he doing this so that there isn't all of this interruption? He could have done a little video, pre-recorded. Here's the views around London. Gone back inside, thought about what he wanted to say, and do it that way. But no, it's got to go on Facebook Live, hasn't it, for the arse pats?
The Just for Giving site got mullered by very strange, nasty, vexated, perverted individuals who were contacting Just for Giving or whatever one I use, saying that I was getting money for fraudulent means and for criminal enterprises and blah de blah de blah. And the sad thing is, one lady on her deathbed, it was her wish, her dying wish, that she was to donate £1,000 to what I'm doing.
Oh no. This wasn't Sam Zen dishing out more money to these charlatans, was it? On her deathbed? Wow. Wonderful. My goodness. So Nicky Cooper had £1,000, Archer had £1,000, Wedger was going to get £1,000. Who else was there? What other sort of sharks were circling this person in her end times? If this is indeed the person he's talking about, and it sounds like it may well be.
Because it doesn't just go on charity, it goes on the campaign itself, you know, and that costs a lot of money.
John, you're forgetting, aren't you? Because we don't forget. When you were knocking around with Anna Breeze, you made a big slip up, didn't you, on one of these things where you actually said, well, the money goes to self-promotion of me on Facebook. Yeah, and it worked a treat, didn't it? Did work a treat for you. The money went on self-promotion for you. History with this man. My God.
You know, there's a lot of people that had a lot of pennies put in their pockets whilst I was doing what I was doing. You know, so.
And that would have been all well and good, apart from you needed to have honest and open accounts, something you refused to do. You were taking donations via PayPal, just giving, GoFundMe, and a few grand went here and there. There was a lot of money outstanding there, and then you had said it was self-promotion. Is that really where all that money went? Anyway, these are the questions he got. People like me, I mean, I wouldn't have liked him anyway. Would have sniffed the rat with the story just because of the Bill Maloney. Okay? Guilty by association. I know it isn't correct to do that, but you go with your previous experiences. All he had to do was have honest and open accounts. That was all. We had him doing his little arse patting lives. Oh, thanks for the van, thanks for the little car, thanks for the night vision goggles, thanks for this, thanks for that. There was a lot of money flying around. None of it was accounted for. And what did you say? F everyone. You're not showing anyone what you do with your money. Well, actually, if it was given for a reason, and the reason you were saying was to save the little children, then you should have had honest and open accounts, because it wasn't your money. It was given to you to do the calls that you said you were doing. And we have seen no evidence of it, although what we have seen is a lot of self-promotion.
And I've always said this is for me to spread the word and raise money for charity, right? So when people say, well, he raised this much, we did this, it's absolute nonsense. So anyway, because the money was then put on hold, and then it was refunded back to those that donated, and do you know what? We started again, and we did get the money. I got it by other means, and
yeah, you were all over Facebook and YouTube asking for it via PayPal. So yeah, you got X amount back. Be interesting to see how much you did get back, wouldn't it? And where it went. Because what could your expenses have been? You're retired, you had a payout. Oh, actually, at that stage, I don't think you had your police payout. But you got your police pension. So yeah, you took a couple of weeks off work to stroll up and down. How much were your expenses to do that? You're allowed to claim them back. If you've got expenses, then claim them back. What was left and where did it go? Just do what normal self-employed people do. You've had your out of the blue business. You're not telling me you haven't had to do accounts as a self-employed person.
A few months ago, I handed over a substantial amount of money, a cheque to Tony and Terry's charity over in the East End of London.
Wonderful. If that's a genuine charity, so why not say how much? Why not go, yay, this is what us as a group have achieved. We've had this amount of money in, X amount of money went here, 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 and here. Here's my honest and open accounts. And we'll never understand this. I will never understand this. I understand it if it's completely damn shady. Understand that.
God bless them and may it carry on. But what happened when the money got sent? They sent this money back to this lady, and it went into probate because she'd died. So all that money
Okay, it was a lady then. So it was Sam Zen. Again, God, the sharks are circling this poor woman.
got lost. It went. So when these people attack, what are they attacking? They're attacking me, going out there, spreading the word. Many people have spread the word, but I did a damn good job at it, and I'm going to take credit for that.
Yeah, you did because you had all that money to do a load of self-promotion. You somehow managed to pretty much get all of these phonies onto Sean Atwood. God knows what that's all about. Like there's there's holes in the story. There's so many. You were talking about Wilfred Wong, a convicted kidnapper, like he was like, I don't know, a victim of something. Yeah, you did. You done really well at self-promoting yourself with whatever message you were choosing.
Because I did, and I get contacted daily from all around the world from people saying no one is spreading the word more about satanic ritual abuse and organised abuse than you was. And I was also approached by someone who was saying that who knows about podcasting and said that this brew with a view. Let me get my brew before it gets all wet and.
You've been chatting. It's all full of rain now, you moron. Why are you doing this where you got all that wind background noise on a roof in the hosing rain? A beggar's belief.
Full of rainwater.
Well, yeah, no
Oh,
shit.
that's gone cold already.
The Great Detective. The cup's got rainwater in it and it's gone cold. It's the 24th of December in the pissing rain. The Great
And
Detective.
they said to me, you was on the precipice of something really monumentally great.
What?
And even Facebook said that my podcasting in 2018 was the fastest achieving in figures. Millions upon millions have seen this sort of
Is it called podcasting if you just got a mobile phone and you keep going live? Is it, or is it just Facebook Live? It's Facebook Live, surely.
work, and the work's got out there. And I would say
What work?
probably 1% of the messages I get are vexated. 1%. The rest of them are
Vexated? Does he mean vexatious? Is vexated a word? Maybe it's me. I don't know.
great. They really are great. And this is going to be a message of gratitude. And I want to sort of then go on and give my forward projection for what we're going to do, because we're not standing down. We're actually coming back bigger and greater than before.
More military chat, not standing down. Well, who asked you to stand up? You wanted to self-promote. Ugh.
However, the people I'm working with and the work I'm doing will remain very highly confidential.
Of course it will. We can't have any damn accountability. We can't actually say, okay, with all this, what has actually happened? Like, because we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. Didn't he say, like, months ago, oh, you're going to see it on the national newspapers, we've cracked something? Cracked what?
But I will podcast it every now and then. I will no longer be doing, I'll do these lives on updates, but I won't be doing live podcasts. We're going into professional podcasting. And we're going to be looking for sponsors for that. And we are...
Wow, this really is Christmas Eve e-begging. Want sponsors for his podcast? So you want donations, sponsors for this little group, and We're not going to know anything. Okay.
We go under the pseudonym of the SIU. Again, that acronym will remain to ourselves, and we are going to go out there and really help people in.
The acronym SRU. What could it possibly be? Satanic Ritual Unit, maybe? Could it be that?
But it's very, very.
Can't think of any derogatory swear words. Underbelly? Satanic Ritual Underbelly? Union?
Proactive, and the sort of stuff that we're going on to, which I'm going to mention in a minute. We are connecting now with very, very high level people. Some are in government. I know there's a lot of people that don't like the government, trust them, but they've a couple of MPs that have come to our assistance. You know, so we've got to be grateful for that. And I want.
These be the fanatical fundamental Christians that we know there are a few. Probably. Nothing will happen.
I want to thank so many people. You know, I want a big up to my compadre who has walked hundreds and hundreds of miles with me in the worst weather the UK can dish out, and that's Big Dill of Devon. And there's a story behind this. Look,
I don't know much about Dylan, but he does. Can't help it. Just because you get caught up with someone or in something, I don't know if he's a terrible person. He comes across as a very calm individual. And he, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about Dylan. There's something about him that, I don't know.
my eyes look like they're crying, but they're not. It's just because the air is just.
Your eyes wouldn't cry. Your eyes don't cry. You hear the most horrific stories. You tell people to watch films of children in the worst possible ways, and well, you're highly animated. Let's put it that way.
Cold up here, and the rain is just bashing into my face.
Well, go shit. It's the end of December on the top of a roof in the hosing rain. This man is a fool.
We did this walk to Rainbow Woods, and that was for Darren Jeffries to highlight his plight. Darren isn't a well man at the moment. The guy was really
Okay, so he's not a well man. Stop speaking about him. You shouldn't speak about him. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
putting his life back on track. He really, really was, and he got hit with terrible.
He was putting his life back on track, was he? Well, and then he met you, and it all went to shit. I mean, is that how it came around? I don't know. That's my opinion. Well, not my opinion. I'm just throwing it out there. Speculation.
Illness, some of it related to childhood abuse, and we very nearly lost Darren the other day. He lost a lot of blood, but he got through because he's.
He shouldn't be talking about that. I think I'm going to skip this. I think this is so wrong that he's speaking like this about someone who is clearly incredibly unwell. Let's skip a bit of this. This is wrong. Let's hope he shut up.
Abuse. Nance and Dylan got sort of acquainted, as it were, and we had to come back to London, Dill and myself, but Nance had bought a load of grub, so when Dill was making her way down to back down to Devon, I said pop into Nance's, and she got all this food, just eat it, because he likes to eat, and he did. He went over there, and let's just say he filled his plate up, and they got married. You know, they got married September the 11th. I was best man.
What a wonderful day. They got married on September the 11th. The first wedding from the motley crew that is Jon Wedger's Jon Wedger's tribe, cult, whatever you want to call it, vigilante group. The first wedding. Okay, well, I hope they're happy. I really do. I hope they're happy and they build their own life outside of this idiot.
And I gave a speech, and it seemed to go down quite well. We had a lovely time. Sue was there, you know. other people. Jean was there. There's a few others that we know from this campaigning turned up, and there's a couple of brothers that when we started the walk, they live in Slough, and they said, John, if you're coming past, can you pop in and we'd like to have a drink with you, you know, and something to eat, and you know, and just welcome you into our home. And so we went down there, and we met his two brothers, right, Johnny and Tony, aka the Bants brothers, the brothers Bants.
Oh my
They
God.
love a bit of banter, these chaps, and they love a good old belly
Thanks for the explanation, because we've all got the IQ of, I don't know, an amoeba.
laugh. And we had a real good laugh with them. And
Wonderful,
we
John.
stayed in touch. And they've been supporting us all the way through. They even turned up at Bill's wedding, and we had a fantastic time. See,
They even turned up. Maybe they were invited. It's how weddings are these days. You just rock up. There's like a bit of a do going on, a bit of free grub, and you just turn up. Or were they invited guests? My goodness. Oh, now he's getting rain all over the camera. This is just ridiculous.
good things have happened. Good things have happened.
Brilliant.
I've consistently been working with Chris Lambriano.
Of course.
Incredible man, Big Chris, 82 years old, and that man is still frontlining it. And he gave the best speech I've heard in my life. We was in the East End of London. We was giving a talk at a meeting for mothers who'd lost their children to knife crime. So it wasn't, you know, a happy event. And Chris gave the best speech I've ever heard. And he got up there and he got all the mothers together and he hugged them all. And I just sit there and think, this is what this man once was one of the UK's so-called feared gangsters. And it's a pleasure.
So-called feared gangster by his own admission. He was, well, the worst of the worst. What do you mean so-called? He was. This is unbelievable coming from someone who takes a police pension. Oof.
If you're watching, it's a pleasure to be acquainted with you. And he's a warrior for Jesus Christ, and he makes that very, very clear. So if you want to look down, I've got me Jesus t-shirt on there. There he is.
I actually thought it was Jimi Hendrix on his t-shirt when I was uploading this video and pixelating it out.
The governor, little cross that my lovely son bought me. And that brings me on to Brian Knox.
Hey?
Brian, if you're watching, Brian, again, an ex-so-called gangster from Scotland.
What do
A
you mean?
history of violent crime.
An there's ex so-called gangster by their own admission. That's exactly what they were. I thought he'd fell out with Brian Knox. I thought he got dunked in the sea, baptised to Jesus Christ and the strange fringe religious group Brian Knox is. I thought they fell out after that.
An organised crime behind him.
I guess we've all kissed and made up now, have we?
Went to God. Was in a world of trouble if he didn't. And he's become, you know, one of the main soldiers for Christ. Himself and a guy called Martin, an ex-paratrooper, again had a lot of problems, struggled with alcoholism and drug addiction, and God turned him round. And these two got together, set up their own sort of like church, as it were, and
Brilliant. Brilliant. Brian Knox, the ex-gangster and ex-military crackhead alky, found the baby Jesus. Now they've got their own churches. Now, I haven't got the stomach to get into it right now. There's so much going on in what he's talking about at the moment, and very little of it is great.
in the summer of 2020 I was baptised in the sea, down in I forget where it was now. It
was such a defining moment for him. I was baptised in the sea by Brian Knox. We've heard that story. It's hilarious. Where was it again? Oh, I can't remember. It was such a life-changing event. He didn't even know where it was. Shut up. It's just like, oh, I've kind of forgotten for a moment. Yeah,
Bexhill-on-Sea, and I
Bexhill
want
on
to say
Sea.
God bless you, Brian Knox, for all the work, all the great work that you do,
They've
and
definitely
he's
made
still
our
out
friend.
there evangelising and helping people. So God bless, because we've got to understand, people, this is a spiritual war.
Oh, God.
We are out there.
Here we go. Jeanette Archer terminology here. Don't tell me they're not still in this together. Don't tell me.
Fighting against people doing evil things. Whether or not they want to put a religious tag on it or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whenever they abuse a kid, they do the devil's work, Again, I want to say a big thank you to the beach home survivors. They never give up, never ever give up. And again, they're in their later years. Every now and then ill health strikes one of them down, but they get back up and they get going again. And they go all over the country campaigning, never giving up. I did an interview with Sean Merritt, a podcast with
Who?
Sean Atwood. I'm mashing people together here. Sean Atwood and Alan Merritt. And Alan gave, again, one of the best interviews I've ever heard. It was from the heart and it was out and out fantastic. So well done, Alan. Big bad Alan Merritt, if you're watching. That really was a moving testimony you gave to Sean Atwood. Again, Sean got hit by trolls who reported him, and they took down the majority of my videos I've done with Sean, which had attained millions.
Well, do you think that's because of the horrific wording you use and your support for a convicted kidnapper? It goes against terms of service, maybe. Just throwing it out there. But it was the trolls, right? I don't know who these trolls are, but they're damn powerful.
And millions of viewers. There was a good message in them. There was a good anti-child
One man's troll is another person's saviour.
abuse message, and this is what they do. They take it down, so we're deplatformed, so we can't operate. So
How's that working then? Because here you are, John. Here you are on the YouTube.
where do you go from there? But I've gone on to do, more interviews with Sean Atwood and a few other up-and-coming podcasters, and I want to thank them. I want to say how proud I am of Little Pocket P, and again, she's watching, and I've seen this girl turn her life around in the whole year, from suffering from what we might term depression and isolating herself, to someone who is now doing a degree in psychology. She gets out there.
Well, keep away from her then if she's actually doing all right. Keep away from her. Let her move on.
And she's now working with animals, with horses.
Good for
and
her.
Her life, she just turned her life right round, and it's incredible. And I want to say I am immensely proud of what you've done. Well done. You must keep going. I want to thank Kareen Hutstebaden,
Oh, God.
a consistent friend to me. She's been brilliant, and she also gives me advice regarding
I can't do the story in France
a
again.
cracking little unit now. No one knows what we do. People get in touch with me, and then we
Cracking little unit. No one knows what we do. Well, we know you grift, but yeah, no one knows what you do. What's the point of it?
assess it from there. We have a way of filtering stuff, Kareen profile stuff, and we will liaise with the police, and we have done. We have liaised closely with the police, not
Really, have you?
to any good effect, to actually a very.
Oh, is that because you're making it up? And the people that did have genuine evidence, you didn't want anything to do with them. Maybe that. And the crap that you've taken to the police is people like Jeanette Archer's story. Just exactly that. Garbage.
Negative effect, but you know what? Screw them, because we know
Lovely.
them. But we was contacted by a distraught family regarding 2 missing children. The case had been shelved for 20 years, and we went to work.
See, this is the most horrific thing. Desperate people. Where they've run out of no one else is listening, no one else is helping. This is exactly how I ended up around Bill Maloney and helping Hands Against Abuse. This is exactly because I tried absolutely everything. I'd exhausted everything within our own government and judiciary and health service and all of it, and I still wasn't getting the answers. This is exactly the scenario. So these people, 20 years on, did he say 20 years? I think he did. They've run out. No one's helping. They haven't got closure. They may well never get closure, and that's something that you can't move on from it. You can't move on from it. It will consume every part of your existence. You go through the motions of your normal life, but it's there, always there, and you have that thing. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And you found people like Jon Wedger. Jeez.
Witnesses were re-interviewed, new witnesses were found.
By who?
We located what we think is a shallow grave. We got ground penetrating radar done. We got soil analysis done. We did a phenomenal job. We got sort of subpoenaed to West Midlands Police Headquarters, where we had to liaise with a senior officer there. And
Well, yeah, I guess if you're tampering in an incredibly serious ongoing investigation, you would have to go and talk to them, right?
that meeting didn't go down too well. We needed access to a bit of land which had been commandeered.
Maybe they didn't want a load of vigilante Inspector Gadgets tramping all around the place. How do you know that they weren't? You don't know, John, that's the thing. On an ongoing case. Was he actually ever in the police? Is he really this stupid? This is winding me up now. I knew it would. This is why I've left it alone for a few days.
Under a government project, and we were banned from going on this land. I think the police may have something to do with it, but I don't know. Anyway, we took our fight high. We got a brilliant MP who fights our corner. We ended up before...
God, it wasn't John Hemming, was it? Oh, it wasn't. Is he still even an MP? That craphead? Oh, stories I got about John Hemming. Wasn't he the biggest charlatan MP going? Making out he was there for abuse victims and yeah, I had a few crossings with John Hemming. My up at Westminster days. That was a complete and total utter waste of time.
2 cabinet ministers and then the Deputy Prime Minister.
Like 2 odd years worth of utter wasted time.
He got involved and he demanded that access is given to this land, and we got access to this land. But something happened, because the moment he did that...
Something happened? I don't think MPs actually have no power whatsoever, so I don't know how he demanded access to anything. You can't. They're just MPs. They're like civil servants.
All the MPs were then contacted by the intelligence services,
Yeah?
telling them to back away from Jon Wedger and class me as a dangerous activist. So...
Well, yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why. You've asked for... You've been asking for night vision goggles. You've been asking for paramilitary people to turn up, ex-army. Like, look what you've done. No wonder. No wonder. Well, at least they do work. At least they do. Well, thanks. I mean, I'm glad he said that, because it means they are watching these weirdos. Did you see that? I see that. It just come up on my whatever it was I was reading, and some bloke got found in the Windsor grounds with, what was it? Said armed person was found in the grounds. It was on that was it. It was Portsmouth News. Because the bloke came from Southampton, 19-year-old, on the grounds of Windsor with a weapon. Not very sketchy details. And do you know, I read that and I thought, oh no, I hope this isn't someone who's been watching Jeanette Archer, who's vulnerable, and has just decided that everything is true and the Queen's going to be a shape-shifting lizard and all the rest of it. I mean, it may not. I mean, it's very likely it isn't, but equally, it could be, couldn't it? It could be. No wonder they're being classed as dangerous, and the intelligence services are looking at them. You should be trying to get yourself involved in an ongoing case. Oh.
Yeah, we're under the radar now, but everything we do
No, you're not under the radar. You're over the radar. We can see you.
is professional. A lot of lessons have been learned. I should have listened to Corrine in the beginning. I should never have worked in a big group, which I did. And again, with trauma-struck people, there was a lot of trauma bonding within the group. People turned on each other, things were stolen, and it just turned spiteful. Some of the things that were done, you know, information.
Okay, so right. So this is the Jon Wedger Foundation crew, I guess. So things were stolen. Were these people held accountable because the things that were stolen could possibly been purchased by the donations with the goodwill of the people? Did police reports made for these thefts?
About witnesses and sources of information that we had, human intelligence sources, were passed on to people, and that could have caused a lot of problems, you know. And oh my word, I had one guy, one moron, who I hadn't even spoken to, went and got an injunction saying I was harassing him. I didn't even spoke to the bloke, you know. So we had a lot of money taken away. There was quite a lot of deception.
Right, okay, so where's the crime? Well, I hope this has all been reported to the police. Or are you just angry that you didn't nick it all?
Going on. We've had some very, very strange stuff happen to us, you know. But never again will that go on. What we've got now are a group of individuals. We all work on our own merit, on our own skill set. We come together and then we break away again, as was recommended to us. So there will never be a collective.
Okay, a collective of vigilantes working under the law, not alongside the law, on their own sort of fringe group. They come together, they compile plans, they touch base, and then they splinter away again. What does that sound like? I'm not going to say it because you've got to be careful with the channel. But what does that actually sound like? Doesn't sound like a good Christian group of people wanting to help victims of abuse, does it?
All these trauma bonded groups always interruck. They all attack each other, always.
They do.
Because
They do, John. Just like what's happening in Jeanette Archer's thing and will continue to happen. And actually, don't think that you're that clever because you really are not. Don't you think that this isn't going to be what happens all over again with you? We know that there's spies in your camp. So damn close to you. The same as Jeanette Archer. She doesn't know just how close her enemies are. I'm right out here. I'm not an enemy. I just don't like any of this rubbish. I don't like vulnerable people being taken advantage of. They're right in your camp, John. Same as with Jeanette.
that's how it goes. That's the nature of the, I suppose, the survivor, victim, you know, mentality or whatever it is. It's
What?
It's one of them things, you know. It's one of them things. Brian, I've just given you a massive shout out, Brian. I've just thanked you immensely for the good work and for the baptising.
Look, this is a lot of ass kissing because I was absolutely sure that him and Brian Knox had fell out not long back. Well, actually, probably, yeah, well, they fell out. So, like, they've clearly made up again. Get your snout out his bottom.
On myself that you and Martin did.
Martin,
so, you know,
yeah.
thank you so much. So, and the one thing, we always work with the police. So whenever we get information, share with the police. Now, I want to come on to why we do that, because there's a lot of people.
Excuse me? That's not true. You've had people come to you with evidence and you've turned them away. So please stop that, Pinocchio.
People are anti-police. I'm not anti-police. I've never been anti-police. I don't like corruption, and I make that quite
He's never been anti-police. Are you kidding me?
clear, right? It shouldn't be covering things up. Right, so Wilfred Wong was arrested last November,
It was a good
just
day.
over a year ago,
Yeah, but he
in a failed kidnap attempt. Okay, There were 6 people.
Oh, okay, so he's actually conceding here it was kidnapping, because I was sure he kept calling it a rescue. Is he trying to move away from that? He's trying to distance it. Let's see, what's he going to say?
It's him and 5 co-defendants. One unfortunately died in some bizarre circumstance in prison.
Suicide, it happens. Really does happen in prisons. More than it should.
They're all remanded, awaiting trial. The trial went ahead this year in the summer, and the evidence come out that it was a woman who was trying to get her son back from what she claims was a very abusive and satanically abusive relationship with the father. Okay, so Wilfred, with these others, they had a plan to. It was a rescue attempt. It went wrong. Wilfred was armed with a knife. The evidence.
Oh dear, he's saying it. He's still using the word rescue. Okay, John, carry on.
That came out was that Wilfred threatened the foster carer who had the child with a knife. There were witnesses. There were some landscape gardeners.
Slashed the tyres.
Put up the fence, saw it all. They gave evidence, and there was other people who gave evidence. And Wilfred, it was his first offence. He's a man of impeccable character, and he's a good man. He is a good man, Wilfred.
What? Holding a woman up at knife point, slashing their tyres, and so she kidnapping. Great man. So he's of impeccable character. How do we know that? Because what if he used to be a very, very good criminal and he just never got caught? We know his SRA stuff and his anti-abortion stuff and all the rest of it was, well, off the scale, Fruit Loop. To say that they were fundamental views doesn't even really cover it.
Wrong. I offered to go character witness for him, but it wasn't required.
Offered to go character witness for Wilfred Wong. Okay, you two weirdos, how far do you go back then? Because if I got myself in shit and needed a character witness, it'd be someone that has known me an incredibly long time. Incredibly long time. And what good would you have been as a character witness? You're just as barking mad and back up his SRA nut job stuff. You wouldn't have helped. You'd have been the sword of Damocles in an already, well, done and dusted situation.
And the child, from what we know, may well be back with the abusive parent.
Shouldn't be
or
talking
alleged
about
abusive
it.
parent, shall I say, because Wilfred gets attacked. There's a guy who goes under the tag of James Hind, I'm going to name him, who attacks Wilfred relentlessly. His real name is Julian, this guy, and it's appalling what comes out.
Wow, Jon Wedger's now trying to go around doxing people. Goodness me. You can't. I don't have much to say about James Hind. I don't really want anything to do with it, but because your mate got convicted of kidnapping, he's in prison for like a stupidly long amount of time. Well, not stupidly, just amount of time. Why is he trying to dox him?
The vile spew that comes out this guy's mouth, and what these people do is they try and find any way of informing the police on what us as light bearers are doing. So they'll transcribe every interview I do.
Oh my God, light bearers. Well, yeah.
They'll find any indiscretion. They've written to the IICSA, the ICSA inquiry, which I want to go on about in a minute, saying that Jon Wedger, his statement, is inaccurate. They reported me to the tax office, the serious fraud office, to the police. We know of 2 people that, because of information they got from Wilfred, were visited by the police and interviewed, and that's because these trolls had informed the police of what had gone on and said, this is an offence, and this is a contemptuous behaviour, and they got a call from the local plod. So They're out there, and this is all they do all day long. They will go through every word you say, every single word you say, you know. And you know what? You've got to ignore them. And I say to people, don't inform me about trolls and what they say about.
Well, for someone who doesn't want to be informed about trolls, he seems to be very well informed about trolls. Oh, I'm getting bored with this. Should we skip it a bit, see what else he comes out with?
You know, he's going to be a very, very old man when he gets out. You know,
Oh, he's still banging
some
on
people
about
might not agree with what he's done, but he didn't have criminal intent. He went out there.
How the hell can anyone agree with what he done? He held a woman up at knife point. A child was dragged out of her arms. Look, oh, tires were slashed on a car. They were going to bundle the kid, somehow get him out. Oh, stop speaking, Jon. Look, there we go. This is every reason why you should not have anything to do with this man.
To rescue a kid, come what may, and you're talking about
Kidnap a child, Jon. Kidnap.
a guy who'd served in the military, a tough guy. You know, he's a mixed martial artist, and he knows only one way. And when he's up against what he deems a Satanist, he dealt with it how he thought he'd deal with it. So, you know, again, we've got to be very careful because, you know, the matter has been dealt with, but there's not much that's come out in public domain about it, not much.
So maybe.
So there you have it. All right, you know.
Well, so Jon, I know what you're talking about there, and I'm glad I skipped it. Maybe you shouldn't have been talking about it.
They're just hurdles, these things. I've learnt so much from being at the centre of attacks, being the emotional dartboard for these loonies. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I made them on my first few years at this, because it's his 4th year now in prison, Christmas in prison. He came out for a little time and he's back in again. He's in such a bad way. So can we spare a thought and a prayer, you know, for our man Pepsi? He's a good man, you know, and he did so much for survivors. And he went out there with his own way of filmmaking. He's massively into repentance and helping people not to reoffend. He was brilliant at what he did. He had a real good manner about him. Even when the police officer got stabbed and murdered in East London, he went and laid a wreath and wrote a card for the family. This isn't a man who hates.
Another person gets involved with Jon Wedger, all goes horribly wrong for him.
Society, but he's a man that's had a rough old time, and he needs mending and he needs healing. Can we write to him? On my page has got the address. He's at Home House, HMP Home House, and he goes under the name of Adam Robinson. So please spare a thought from him. I want to say good congratulations to Ellie Reynolds for winning her case. You know, the victim of the grooming gangs, you know, in the north of England, in the northwest of England. Well done to you. You know, you stood your ground and justice prevailed, and you know, you showed them for what they are, covering it up, you know, up in Cumbria. And again, I spoke out in favour of Ellie, wore a t-shirt, and someone reported me to the Attorney General. And I got a threat from the Attorney General of contempt. And again, this is what these people do with their...
You shouldn't be talking, I'm skipping, he shouldn't be talking about these things. Ongoing cases, don't talk about them. People who have got pending cases, don't talk about it. What did Jon do? Even if any of the people who went on his like little podcast thing where he was like interviewing them, like the Jeanette Archer and the Jenny and like the other ones, what he shouldn't have been doing is that in the first instance. What he shouldn't have been doing was that. Because if, huge if, any of them was true, then these were cases that could have been taken through either criminal court or civil court. You know. But no.
Time, you know, instead of helping, you know, Home House, HMP Home, HOLME House, Adam Robinson. If you write to Adam Robinson, and again, he's in that little cluster of northeast England in Stockton-on-Tees. I think he's the only southerner down there, and he's getting a bit of bullying as well. You know, they're all locals, all sort of, you know, hickey and bready,
What?
know each other and from the same estate and that, and he's an outsider, and he's
Hickey inbreeding? What is he talking about? He wants to. He's never put in a prison up north if that come out his mouth.
getting a rough old ride of it. So please help him out, you know, and cheer him up a little bit when he comes out of solitary, out of seg, you know. We'll see him, and you know, well done. We got a message here from Sandy Smith, Quarriers. They say a big up to the Quarriers Warriors. Again, we look at Sandy and his missus, you know, they go all the way. Someone's put a message here, hi John, what are your views on the reptilians that Jeanette Archer speaks of? I don't even want to go there. I'm sorry, I don't even want to go there. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that nonsense, you know. I'm staying away from all of this mad stuff, you know. So, but back to Quarriers, you know.
What? He's staying away from all of the mad stuff. He was the one that gave us the story of the little old lady who used to be a supporter, and she, what did she do? Shapeshifted, turned into a demon in front of his eyes. That one. I guess you forgot that story.
There was this guy, I can't remember his first name, but Quarrier, who set up these what were they named, village homes all over, I think the north end of and up in Scotland.
Oh,
And really it was just to trade in kids. That's what they were. They were getting paid each time they move a kid about. It was a bit like under the Slavery Act. They'd get money for moving the kids about, and they made money that way, and they were abusing them, and they were just getting rented out and abused. And some horrific stuff went on. If you ever Google the Beast of the Bell Tower, there was a guy that would take young boys up to this.
Hang on, he's going to talk disgusting stuff. I'm going to skip him. It's on his page. It's on his page if you want to. He's going to start. I can just tell it. Can you imagine? He's doing this to him. People who are watching him live. A lot of them are victims of the worst things. Misguided in their love of Jon Wedger, for sure. Incredibly vulnerable, for sure. Christmas is a difficult time. Christmas is a difficult time for many people for many, many different reasons. He's choosing to do this on Christmas Eve to people. No regard at all. Let's hope he's finished with that.
Really good year for that. But I'm not going to be open like I was in the past. I would say things and
open? The only thing that we want you to be open with is your damn accounts.
Tell people what I'm doing. That ain't happening anymore. But I will be doing updates. There's going to be professional podcasting going on. You know, there might be a little bit of merchandise. We'll try and get a few more Brew with a View
Oh my God, Brew with a View is back again with merch. Please no.
He's totally gone now. Oh, that is so manky. That's gone really, well,
it's just
freezing cold, like we are up on this roof. And this is a message of gratitude. You know, without the brilliant people
like we are. Who's he with then?
That I've worked with, majority of them survived.
Because I've seen him, he's glancing to one side a little bit. So who's up there with him then, like a moron getting rained on?
Others are ex-criminals, you know, which is so ironic. I would not be here, you know. I want to thank a guy called Pastor Patrick.
Oh God.
A good man, and I want to apologise to Pastor Patrick because certain events occurred which I won't go into. You know, a few of us received death threats and
Did you? Did you though? That's a bit rich coming from you, John, considering the people that you encouraged. And I believe still encourage.
It was a bit strange, a bit crazy what happened last year. There's some unsavoury people out there, but Pastor Patrick is a man who does a lot of good and brilliant work. I want to say a big shout out to a guy called Ez, who does so much turning criminals around, putting their lives straight. I'm totally impressed with him, with his work, and hopefully continue to sort of be associated with him in the future. And you know, I want to thank everyone, honestly. You know I can be a difficult person, you know, and I know sometimes I disassociate myself. I've got a habit of when I've had enough, I'm off, I'm gone, you know, as people have found out. But again, it doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting you, you know. Massive shout out to Trace and to Rita for all their help. Tracy and Rita, what a cracking couple of girls. They're brilliant, absolutely brilliant what they've done, you know. And Tracy herself for all the work she does for the community, you know. God bless what you do for everyone in North London. Fantastic work, you know. So that is it. I want us to spare a thought for all those that are in trouble this Christmas, you know. Spare a thought and a prayer for Samantha Baldwin, who's been divested from her beautiful sons for many years now, and is dealt with by the most humiliating way by the family courts, and she's in turmoil all the time, not knowing if her boys are okay or not. A good woman, a good woman, you know. Please spare a thought for her.
Is he going to plug her book?
Spare a thought for the survivors that are struggling at this time of year, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, you weren't sparing a thought, were you, when you were stirring all this up? With Darren Jeffrey, oh, God, this man, honestly, he chose to trigger everyone on Christmas Eve. What a legend.
And those that harbouring addiction because of the abuse they've gone through, you know. It's only by the grace of God some of us aren't there, you know, themselves. So we're going to keep going. You're right, Brian Knox. God bless you, Brian. I will come down and see you. Brian's got 2 dogs now, apparently. And, you know, I'm going to start again the podcasting. I've made some brilliant contacts over the last year and a half.
Oh, 2022. Well, I guess we're going to have content with the old Jon Wedger, aren't we? Marvellous.
I want to thank Sean Atwood for what he's doing. We saw...
Right, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip that.
And that's that. So I'm still there. You'll still find me at Jon Wedger Foundation at gmail.com. If I don't get back to you, I don't know, what can I do? But
We'll get back to them.
I'll just leave you with an example. I got someone sent me some messages the other day, and I look at when these messages come in, and if they're early hours, you know you're dealing with someone who's a little bit cuckoo, you know. And it was
Wow, what's he? He's actually calling people with mental health and trauma issues a little bit cuckoo. Oh, I can't. That's it. Let's remove that. The whole thing is on his channel if you want to listen to it all. And see his beautiful face, not pixelated. That's just too much. Anyway, I'm going to see how long it takes to upload this. My internet is being like rubbish. But yeah, so we'll do a live maybe tonight or tomorrow. But I'm just going to get this uploaded now. The length of time it takes me to upload it will give us an idea as to whether this internet at the moment that's incredibly scratchy and has been for some time now can actually hold the live. So we'll have a look. Anyway, look after your lovely selves. I'm just going to chill out today. Really am just going to chill out today. All right, look after yourselves. Much love to you and yours. And Holly, I hope you did have a good birthday on the 24th. And I'm very sorry that we didn't get to do our live. There were very good reasons for it. And on our next live, I'll explain all what went down over those few days. It was like I'm not going to go in great detail on this stuff with one of my boys, but there was something else that happened on the 23rd, and I'll get into that with you. You can't. Oh, but anyway, nothing to do with Androgyn and policemen or anything like that. It was anyway. I'll get into it. It was bad and very strange, and I don't know what's happening where I live. Um, this I'd like to move in the next year. I think need to clear my credit cards, get me get me income up again. Um, sort of thing. But Yeah, so I don't know. It's a strange world we're living in. Apparently, is Boris going to tell us if we're all locked down again? So I'm going to have to stay with this job of working from home. I'm back on the 29th. I'm only back for the 29th and 30th. Then we've got New Year's Eve off and that long weekend. But I'm going to have to keep with this job that makes my house feel incredibly claustrophobic, working from home day in, day out. I'll have to stick with it until things are back to normal because, working from home, if Boris does lock us down again, then at least I'll be at work. So anyway, look after yourselves and catch you soon. Bye bye. Bye.